You've seen the trials at Nuremberg, the courtroom footage, men in suits answering for war crimes, but the medical experiments, the doctors who turned healing into horror, most people think justice was served. The truth cuts deeper. What happened to the Nazi doctors after the war wasn't justice, it was something else entirely. If you value documented historical research like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from the Nuremberg medical trial records and declassified Allied intelligence files. Now back to the story. May 8th, 1945, Germany surrenders. In concentration camps across the Reich, Allied forces find the evidence, medical records, experiment logs, bodies. The scale becomes clear fast. Dachau alone, over 3,000 victims of high-altitude experiments. Buchenwald, 600 deaths from typhus injections. Ravensbrück, 74 women sterilized with x-rays. The numbers pile up like cordwood. But the doctors? They scatter like smoke. Karl Brandt, Hitler's personal physician, tries to flee south. American forces catch him May 23rd near the Austrian border. In his briefcase, detailed notes on the euthanasia program. 70,000 disabled Germans dead by his signature. Brandt claims medical necessity. The evidence says otherwise. Sigmund Rascher disappears from Dachau before liberation. His superiors shot him April 26th, not for war crimes, but for falsifying reports about his experiments. Even the SS found him excessive. His freezing studies killed over 300 prisoners. His notes survive. Water temperature, 2 degrees Celsius. Time to unconsciousness, 6 minutes. Time to death, 25 minutes on average. October 25th, 1946. The doctors' trial begins at Nuremberg. 23 defendants in the dock. Prosecutor Telford Taylor lays out the case. Medical experiments without consent, sterilization programs, mass murder disguised as research. The evidence fills 18,000 pages. Here's where the story turns cold. Karl Gebhardt, Himmler's personal surgeon, performed bone and muscle experiments at Ravensbrück. 74 Polish women used as test subjects. Infection rates, 90%. Deaths, 16 documented. Gebhardt's defense. Medical advancement for German soldiers. The court finds him guilty. Death sentence. Executed June 2nd, 1948. But Gebhardt was the exception. Hubertus Strughold, the aviation medicine specialist, never faced trial. His altitude experiments at Dachau killed dozens. After the war, NASA recruits him. Operation Paperclip, the secret program to bring Nazi scientists to America. Strughold becomes the father of space medicine. Dies in Texas, 1986. Full honors. Hermann and Becker Freising. Tested seawater drinking on prisoners. 44 victims at Dachau. Severe dehydration. Kidney failure. 4 deaths confirmed. His sentence at Nuremberg, 20 years. Served 9. Released 1954 for good behavior. Returns to Germany. Practices medicine until retirement. The pattern emerges fast. 7 doctors executed, 9 acquitted. 7 sentenced to prison terms. But the sentences, commuted, reduced. Most serve less than half their time. Hans Eisler conducted sterilization experiments at Buchenwald, sentenced to death at Nuremberg, commuted to life imprisonment, released 1952, flees to Egypt. Practices medicine in Cairo under a false name until 1965. Dies in Munich, 1967. Natural causes. Wilhelm Beigelbuck's seawater experiments at Dachau tortured 90 Romani prisoners, 15 days without fresh water. Weight loss, averaging 15 pounds per subject. Hallucinations, liver damage. Sentenced to 15 years. Serves 8. Returns to practice in Germany. Becomes a respected internist. Dies 1963. No consequences. The cold numbers tell the story. Of the 23 doctors tried at Nuremberg, only 7 faced execution. The rest? They melted back into society like they'd never left. But Nuremberg was just the visible trial. In the Soviet zone, different justice. NKVD teams hunt Nazi medical personnel. No trials. Mass arrests. Dr. Ernst Grawitz, architect of the T4 euthanasia program, kills his family and himself May 24th, 1945. Knows what's coming. Over 400 medical personnel disappear into Soviet camps. Most never return. The Americans had other priorities. Operation Paperclip needs expertise. Nazi background. Secondary concern, Kurt Blome, biological warfare specialist, tested plague vaccines on prisoners, acquitted at Nuremberg for lack of evidence. CIA recruits him immediately. Biological weapons research at Camp Detrick, Maryland. Full security clearance. While the British run their own program. Hans Nachtsheim, genetics researcher who sterilized hundreds at Ravensbrück, advises on radiation studies. No trial, no consequences. Dies West Berlin, 1979. Academic honors intact. France follows suit. Eugen Fischer, architect of Nazi racial hygiene policy, retires to Baden-Württemberg. Writes memoirs. Advises on African colonial policy. No charges filed. Dies 1967. State pension intact. The Vatican rat lines change everything. Bishop Alois Hudal's network smuggles Nazi war criminals to South America. Medical personnel included. Josef Mengele, the angel of death from Auschwitz, reaches Argentina, February 1949. False papers. Vatican passport. Lives openly in Buenos Aires until 1959. Moves to Paraguay, then Brazil. Dies 1979. Never faced trial. Eduard Wirtz, chief doctor at Auschwitz, supervises medical experiments on thousands. Sterilization. Phenol injections. Twin studies. Hangs himself in British custody. September 20th, 1945. Avoids trial. His assistants scatter across 3 continents. Horst Schumann, X-ray sterilization specialist, flees to Ghana, practices medicine in Accra under UN auspices. Ghana discovers his background in 1966, extradites him to Germany. Trial begins 1970. Health complications delay proceedings. Dies 1983, never convicted. The pattern holds everywhere. Scatter, hide, wait, return. If you value documented historical research like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also, comment from which city you're hearing this from. Now back to the story. By 1955, most Nazi doctors walk free. Some practice medicine openly, others work under new names. Many advise government programs. The Cold War needs experts. Past affiliations matter less than present utility. West German medical schools welcome them back. Professor positions, research grants, academic respectability. The denazification program ends in 1951. Clean slate for everyone. Johann Kramer, pathologist at Auschwitz, injected phenol directly into prisoners' hearts. 200 deaths documented. His diary entries survive. And today, I preserve parts of the liver, spleen, and pancreas. Sentenced to death in Poland, commuted to life. Released 1958. Returns to Münster University. Teaches until 1968. Students never know his past. Bruno Weber, typhus researcher at Buchenwald, infected over 1,000 prisoners. Mortality rate, 90%. Weber's notes describe symptoms in clinical detail. Fever, delirium, death. Weber flees to Austria in 1945. British authorities find him in 1947. Extradited to Poland. Sentenced to death. Executed in 1952. Rare justice. Victor Brack, euthanasia administrator, oversees the killing of 70,000 disabled Germans. Gas chambers. Lethal injections. Mass sterilization by X-ray. Brack's office processes the paperwork. Death certificates. Transport orders. Body disposal contracts. Tried at Nuremberg. Executed June 2nd, 1948. One of the 7, Karl Klauberg. Sterilization specialist. Experiments on Jewish women at Auschwitz. Caustic substances injected into wombs. No anesthesia. Agonizing pain. 700 women subjected to procedures. Most die from complications. Klauberg flees west in 1945, captured by Soviets. Sentenced to 25 years, released 1955 as part of prisoner exchange. Practices gynecology in West Germany until arrested again 1955. Dies in custody awaiting trial. The medical establishment protects its own. PSA. German Medical Association reinstates licenses without questions. Past affiliations, irrelevant. Present competence, sufficient. The Hippocratic Oath covers old sins. August Hirt, anatomy professor at Strasbourg, builds a skeleton collection for murdered Jews. 86 victims selected at Auschwitz, transported alive to Natzweiler camp, gassed on arrival, bodies preserved for research. Hirt's collection complete by September 1944. When Allies approach, he orders destruction of evidence. Too late. Bodies discovered. Hirt flees. Captured by French forces. Dies in custody. June 2nd, 1945. Suicide by cyanide. Leo Alexander, American psychiatrist, investigates Nazi medical crimes for Nuremberg prosecution. His report documents systematic murder disguised as medicine. 6 major categories of experiments: high altitude, freezing, sterilization, poisoning, epidemic disease, surgery without consent. Alexander's findings become evidence. Justice demands consequences, but justice has competition. Werner von Braun, rocket engineer, uses slave labor at Peenemünde. 20,000 workers die building V-2 rockets. After surrender, Americans recruit him. Apollo program needs expertise. Nazi past. Classified. Von Braun becomes American hero. dies Huntsville, Alabama, 1977. National monument to his memory. If medical war criminals get similar treatment, who suffers? Adolf Wallmann, physician at Hadamar Euthanasia Center, kills over 4,000 disabled patients. Gas chamber operations, lethal injections, body disposal logistics. Wallmann keeps meticulous records, patient names, arrival times, death causes, all fabricated. American forces arrest him, March 1945, tried by American military court, death sentence, executed October 19th, 1945. Swift justice, exception to the rule. Hermann von Miller, pediatrician at Egelfing-Haar, starves disabled children to death. Starvation diet protocol, systematic malnutrition, over 2,000 victims. Parents told children died of natural causes. Von Miller's method spreads to other institutions. American forces arrest him May 1945. Tried by German court, 1949. 6 years imprisonment. Released, 1951. Returns to practice. Dies 1962. Natural causes. The contrast cuts deep. Quick trials for some. Delayed proceedings for others. Death sentences commuted. Prison terms reduced. Medical licenses restored. Academic positions resumed. Werner Heide, psychiatrist and euthanasia coordinator, oversees killing of 70,000 patients, develops carbon monoxide protocols, trains killing personnel, organizes transport logistics, flees to Schleswig-Holstein after war, lives under false identity as Dr. Fritz Sawada, works as court-appointed medical expert for 13 years, identity revealed 1959, arrested, dies in custody February 13th, 1964. Suicide before trial. The German medical establishment knew. Colleagues recognized him. Professional contacts maintained silence. Complicity by omission. Protection by profession. Arbert Heim, the butcher of Mauthausen, performed surgery without anesthesia. Heart injections with gasoline. Organ removal from living patients. Speed competitions with other doctors. Time from operation to death, sometimes minutes. Heim disappears after war. Lives in Egypt under assumed identity. Dies Cairo, 1992. Never captured. Simon Wiesenthal hunts him for decades. Follows leads across 3 continents. Bank records, passport applications, family contacts, always one step behind. Heim's family collects his inheritance after death. No consequences. Heinrich Gross, pediatric neurologist, kills hundreds of disabled children at Am Spiegelgrund Clinic. Brain removal after death, specimen preservation, research publications using victim tissue. After war, builds distinguished career university professor, expert witness in court cases, medical awards and honors. Investigation begins 1979. Charges filed 1997. Trial delayed repeatedly. Declared unfit for trial 2005. Dies 2005. Never convicted. The specimens remain. Children's brains in jars. Research continues using Nazi-obtained tissue until 1990. Ethical review boards examine collections. Victims finally receive burial 2002. Time is the doctor's greatest ally. Witnesses die. Evidence degrades. Memory fades. Legal systems move slowly. Statute of limitations expire. Health complications delay trials. Death arrives before justice. The bureaucracy of genocide survives better than its victims. Hans Munch, bacteriologist at Auschwitz, conducts experiments on prisoners. Typhus research, sterilization studies, blood experiments. After liberation, testifies for prosecution. Unique cooperation among Nazi doctors. Receives lenient treatment. Sentenced to life imprisonment in Poland. Released 1946. Returns to Germany. Practices medicine until retirement. Dies 2001. Age 90. His testimony helps convict others. Rare redemption in a profession that chose silence. The Vatican connection runs deeper than rat lines. Pope Pius XXIII personally intervenes for war criminals, medical personnel included, clemency appeals, sentence reductions, travel documents, financial support. Church resources support Nazi fugitives worldwide. Bishop Hudal maintains extensive networks, safe houses in Rome, false identities prepared in advance, travel routes mapped through Italy to ports, shipping connections to Argentina and Brazil. Medical war criminals use these routes extensively. The Cold War accelerates rehabilitation. West Germany becomes NATO ally, 1955. Past crimes matter less than present loyalty. Soviet Union remains the enemy. Nazi background becomes anti-communist credential. Medical schools need faculty. Hospitals need staff. Research institutes need expertise. German medicine cannot function without its trained professionals. Moral qualifications become secondary to practical needs. The American medical establishment stays quiet. German colleagues matter for scientific exchange. International conferences need participation. Research collaboration requires cooperation. Professional courtesy covers past sins. Medical journals publish Nazi research without ethical review. Data from human experiments appears in standard textbooks. Hypothermia research from Dachau contributes to survival studies. High-altitude data from Ravensbrück informs aviation medicine. The knowledge survives. The methods stay hidden. Recent excavations at Hadamar reveal mass graves containing over 10,000 victims. Dental records match Nazi documentation exactly. Patient files list fabricated causes of death. The bureaucratic precision of murder preserved in carbon copies and filing cabinets. The doctors who signed death certificates practiced medicine until natural retirement. Justice arrived 60 years too late. The pharmaceutical industry offers another escape route. IG Farben, chemical giant, supplied Zyklon B to death camps. Company doctors supervised human experiments. After dissolution, successor companies hire former Nazi researchers. Bayer employs Fritz Termeer, convicted war criminal. Höchst recruits Hans Koenig, concentration camp doctor. BASF hires Adolf Butenandt, sterilization researcher. Corporate amnesty covers medical crimes. Gerhard Rose, tropical medicine specialist, infects prisoners with malaria, typhus, and yellow fever at Dachau. Over 1,000 victims. Mortality rate approaches 50%. Rose's defense at Nuremberg, military necessity, sentenced to life imprisonment, released 1955. Returns to practice in West Germany. Advises World Health Organization on tropical diseases. Dies 1992. International recognition intact. Kurt Gutzeit, radiologist at Dachau, conducts X-ray sterilization experiments. Subjects exposed to massive radiation doses. Testicles and ovaries destroyed. Severe burns follow. Many die from radiation sickness. Gutzeit measures effectiveness by counting sperm cells post-exposure. 0 counts indicate success. After war, practices radiology in Bavaria. Dies 1978. Natural causes. No prosecution. The universities become sanctuaries. Academic freedom protects research. Past affiliations remain private matters. Tenure systems ensure job security. Publishing requirements demand productivity over purity. Former Nazi doctors build distinguished careers through scholarly output. Ottmar von Verschuer, genetics professor and Mengele's mentor, continues racial research after war. Pre-war work on twin studies legitimizes post-war positions. American Rockefeller Foundation provides funding. Publications in respected journals continue. No mention of concentration camp connections. Von Verschuer dies 1969. Academic honors preserved. Students never learn about Auschwitz. The medical licensing boards face practical problems. Germany needs doctors. War casualties, reduced medical personnel. Reconstruction requires health care. Moral qualifications conflict with practical needs. Boards choose pragmatism. Licenses restored. Practices resumed. Questions avoided. Franz Lucas, physician at Auschwitz, participates in selection process. Left means work. Right means gas chamber. Lucas saves some prisoners through medical exemptions. After war, this selective mercy becomes defense. Testimony describes his humanitarian efforts. Conviction results in 3 years imprisonment. Released 1952. Practices family medicine until 1975. Dies natural death. 1994. The complexity of collaboration creates legal problems. Some doctors killed, others saved lives while serving the system. Courts struggle with partial guilt. Sentences reflect mixed records. Full prosecution becomes impossible. Compromise verdicts satisfy no one. Medical research ethics develop slowly. Nuremberg Code establishes principles. 1947. Informed consent required. Medical necessity demanded. Risk-benefit analysis mandatory. But enforcement remains voluntary. No international court monitors compliance. Medical establishments self-regulate. Human experimentation continues in other forms. American radiation studies. Soviet psychiatric imprisonment. Japanese biological warfare research. The Nuremberg principles apply selectively. Allied war crimes receive different treatment. Nazi doctors face prosecution. Other nations? Medical crimes remain classified. Josef Mengele's escape illustrates system failures. American forces capture him. May 1945. Released without identification. Lives openly in Bavaria until 1949. Colleagues know his identity. No one reports him. Vatican rat lines provide escape route. Argentina becomes safe haven. Lives under real name in Buenos Aires suburb. West German authorities issue arrest warrant 1959. Mengele flees to Paraguay. Dictator Alfredo Stroessner provides protection. German community offers support. Business investments generate income. Mengele lives comfortably while victims seek justice. Mossad operations target Nazi war criminals. Adolf Eichmann captured Buenos Aires 1960. Trial in Jerusalem generates worldwide attention, but medical personnel remain lower priorities. Resources focus on SS officers and camp commandants. Doctors escape systematic pursuit. The pharmaceutical patents present ethical dilemmas. Nazi human experiments produce valuable data. Hypothermia research saves lives in modern emergency medicine. High-altitude studies inform aviation safety. Pain research contributes to anesthesia development. Using tainted knowledge saves lives but rewards murder. Medical textbooks face similar problems. Standard references cite Nazi research without attribution. Students learn from data obtained through torture. The knowledge spreads globally. Original sources remain hidden. Medical education builds on foundations of human suffering. East German authorities pursue different strategies. Socialist ideology demands denazification. Show trials demonstrate commitment to justice, but practical needs limit prosecutions. Medical expertise remains scarce. Convicted doctors receive reduced sentences. Early releases follow good behavior. Rehabilitation occurs quietly. Werner Kattel, pediatrician, develops euthanasia protocols for disabled children. Starvation methods, phenobarbital overdoses, pneumonia exposure techniques. Over 5,000 victims die under his supervision. After war, establishes pediatric clinic in Kiel, publishes textbooks on child development. Dies 1981. Professional reputation intact. The insurance industry creates additional complications. Life insurance policies cover concentration camp victims. Death certificates list natural causes. Insurance companies pay claims based on false documentation. Nazi doctors, fraudulent records generate profits. Victims, families receive payments for fabricated illnesses. The lie becomes financially useful. Hermann Stieve, anatomist at Berlin University, receives bodies of executed resistance fighters, dissects corpses for research, publishes papers on stress effects on reproductive organs. Subjects include pregnant women executed for political crimes. After war, continues university career. Dies 1952. Academic reputation preserved. Research cited in modern textbooks. The medical establishment's collective amnesia serves multiple purposes. Professional solidarity protects colleagues. International cooperation requires forgiveness. Scientific progress demands continuity. Moral judgments interrupt practical work. The profession chooses selective memory. Documentation survives in unexpected places. Personal diaries, family letters, insurance records, tax filings, bank statements, hotel registries. The paper trail reveals post-war lives, comfortable retirements, family gatherings, professional achievements, normal lives after abnormal crimes. Modern DNA analysis identifies victims, remains. Bone fragments match family samples. Nazi documentation confirms identities. The scientific precision that enabled murder now provides justice. Technology reveals truth decades after trials end. The statute of limitations creates artificial deadlines. Legal systems impose time limits on prosecution. Murder charges expire after fixed periods. Nazi crimes fall beyond reach of courts. Living perpetrators gain immunity through survival. Time becomes accomplice to crime. Medical schools today teach Nazi medicine as cautionary history. Ethics courses examine concentration camp experiments. Students learn principles through negative examples. The Nuremberg Code gains meaning through context. Modern medicine builds ethical foundations on historical horrors. Recent discoveries continue revealing hidden truths. Church archives open classified files. Government documents face declassification schedules. Corporate records surface in legal proceedings. The full scope of medical complicity emerges slowly. Each revelation confirms the pattern. Protection, escape, rehabilitation, return. Archaeological evidence provides final confirmation. Mass graves at Hartheim contain over 18,000 victims. Crematorium foundations match Nazi blueprints. Personal effects identify individuals. Medical records document cause of death. The physical evidence contradicts official denials. Doctors signed the orders. Patients died as planned. Justice never came. The doctors who healed became the doctors who killed. After the war, most became doctors again.